We are live. Hopefully. Can everyone hear me if you've joined in the stream now? Hope everyone can hear me. Who's Elton Hankinson? I'm just trying to sort this out for 1 second. But how's everyone doing today? Alright, trying to get that sorted. That way we got the thing. I need to make sure that Ross is aware that both the streams are up. And then we'll go through the teams as we go along. Yeah. Let's just make sure there's a stream link up. Should be. Season 3, yeah. I think that is ours. Yeah, that's ours. Okay, so our stream is up. Evening, Dico. Can you hear me all right? Is everything all right there? Hopefully it's all okay. I don't know what my mic if my mic is as 100% as it has been. I'm just trying to figure out who's meant to be where. So at the moment, I know for a fact that it's gonna be round 6. So Falcon has bring Alessandro, Pasti, and Finn. So Finn, Alessandro, and Pasti. There's 14 of us here. So Elton, I don't think is meant to be here. That's English, definitely English. Let's have a look. Arix, who have lost a little bit of ground from last week. Keplero, Javi, Aura. Aero GT, Owen, Hurricane, and Prime Call, Hurricane, Owen, and then Project Platypus is Zico, BX, and Perry. Alright, so we are where we are. I'm just going to tell this man to leave. If not, I'll kick him just before we start. But yeah, welcome everyone. It is week 6 here, season 3. And it's a big week. Big week here in ALR. Just for the purpose of settling the scores a little bit. Settling who is going to be in the final couple of races next week. And the week after that. Because, you know, round 6 in ALR is usually a split point. It is a split point in the season. After today, we will have our top 5 teams. Next week, we will have 1 lobby. And with that being said, that 1 lobby is going to consist of the 5 top teams in the standings going into the end of the day. At the end of the day, well, going on from week 7 and 8, so next week and the week after, so we've got 2 more Sundays left of this for this season, we will essentially be, well, we will be running 1 lobby with double points. It will be, I believe, Monza and then Bathurst, 2 iconic circuits, one significantly more iconic than the other. But yeah, Bathurst at the end of the season is going to be a massive one for double points, especially when the gap right now is 42 at the front. Project Platypus leading out Arix at the front of the grid right now for the constructors. There isn't a drivers, it's just a team's championship this. And, well, Arix made a signing this week. And those who have paid attention to the Esports League in this server before, on this YouTube channel before, will recognize a name. Or will recognize part of a name here. Raced a couple of times last season, was extremely quick. If you want to go back to the Lago race, he did actually give Hazal a good run for his money. But he's back, and Derek's picked him up. And that's Aura there, you see in number 4. Aura, well, I believe, will be part of FGR again next season. When they rejoin the league. Is driving for Arix today. And that means there is a chance for that 42-point lead we have at the top to shrink massively. Because Javi is also driving. That means that there's a definite possibility that a 1-2 is going in Arix's favour tonight. If they can get this right. I believe my settings are all right as well. Hey, we got some Aura fans in the chat tonight, and yeah, the big return. Next season we've got FGR returning to the league. They obviously were third they came third in the Esports League in Season 2. We knew that they had the potential to do better. They're giving it a second chance in Season 4. But for now, Aura's joined Arix for the final 3 races of the season to try and get them another championship on the board. But it's got some stiff competition. BX is going to be their main priority to beat tonight. That's a certain that their Project Platypus is just going to try and hold fire with their lead, try and hold on to as much of it as humanly possible, given that the 2 double points weeks back to back after this one. It is now 8 o'clock. I have given them more than enough time. We've gone through the 14s in this lobby. Bearing in mind, then we'll have for those who aren't aware, we will have the top 14 join Lobby A after this qualifying session. The top 14 from A and B combined will jump in here. We will then run the 38 lap race, as you can see at the top of the screen here around Alsace, to decide whether or not, well, who is the top 5? Who is the 5 greatest teams we have in the server this season? Massive, massive opportunities for Pegasus and for Cavar today. They go head-to-head, about 5 points between them, and then the top 4 seemingly separate. But yeah. Hello, Slim. Just about to go in now. Just double checking the settings are correct. Preset weather, afternoon, times 2, times 2, 650. Looks good to me! And if it looks good to me, we're going. So let's get going. Here for week 6. Week 6, a massive time of the year. Massive time of the season. For everyone just to get themselves where they need to be. As the klaxon, we'll see qualifying up and running properly now. Just getting, while everyone's going on their outlap, I'm actually going to get the YouTube up. That way I can keep an eye out on everything that is going on in the YouTube. Is my mic okay right now for those who are in the stream? If my mic, I hope my mic's okay. I'm not, yeah, mic is fine. But yeah. Welcome everyone just joined us just for the start of this qualifying. Yeah, it's the final day of 8 teams. Final day of 8 teams. Without a miracle, we know that 2 are going. In terms of V2 and Project Racing United. So the B team here for Pegasus are all but out unless something massive is going to happen. And also B2, who will sadly be leaving us at the end of the season at this point in time. Yeah, those 2 are likely out of the competition after today. We know that Project Platypus, we know that Arix, we know that Falcon and Aero GT, barring a miracle, all safe. They'll all be driving again next week when we go to a singular lobby. The main battle we'll watch is between Pegasus and Carvard to see who's the 5th member of that lobby. But more in Lobby A will be continuing to figure out whether or not there will be a gap to go into come Monza next week. It's 42 points. They stretched out from 17 last week at Tokyo when BX and Matei had a flyer of the day. And now BX is going to be the first one on a qualifying lap here in qualifying here at Alsace. And this is not a bad track. I know you've come into the chat to say that to me, Slim. I am not accepting Alsace slander. It is such a flowing track. I am 100% against the slander here. But yeah, BX in the middle of the first sector. One more corner until the end of his first sector. Then we'll get a benchmark to realistically see what everyone is putting down. 38.2. Zico, on the other hand, is the next one up. It's about 38.8. Javi, 38.7. Alessandro, about 38.5. So again, not too much of a discrepancy in terms of the timing screen here. No, it's not a horrid track. It's a shame. I'm the one picking these calendars for reference. I disagree. I do not think it's an horrible track. But yeah, BX coming around the hairpin here, and then toward the end of the lap now, we're beginning in sector 3. But yeah, I do pick all the calendars here. I've already got next season set up as well. As we go down now, hello Esports. BX to the line, that looked a little bit deep, that looked just a bit too much speed there into the final chicane, can't control the car out either. BX might have just dropped the ball there at the qualifying lap. 49.4, Zico the next one to the line. Next one to the line, it's actually half a second slower. Javi after that, 49, 50.3 is not a good time whatsoever. 48, 49, 49.6 for Alessandro. Over to the line next. 50.2 is probably not done the greatest of lap there. Same with Javi, and Perry did a 50.5. I feel like there's a bunch of people here that also got caught up in a little bit of a traffic jam at the end of the lap here. Kepler into the pits. We'll be seeing a decent chunk of strategy here because the pits are so short and the tyre wear is so high. Hey up, Ahmed. Let's have a look. So, as we had any sort of changes here, so we've got roughly a bunch of drivers around that 50.2 area. Would expect that time to come down because I think the 49s are where you want to be. Can't imagine the cutoff point being a high 50 at that point at all. I would imagine low 50, high 49 is probably where you want to kind of be. So the Aston is apparently horrible. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That one doesn't surprise me. Yeah, the strats are going to be huge here. The strats are going to be absolutely massive. At the end of the day, you just got to get it right. You got to get it right. It's going to be borderline. It's the choice of whether or not you consistently go like a medium and then soft, and spam out the softs, or whether or not you go and do as few stops as humanly possible on the tyres. The tyre wear is high for a track like this. VX is now into the pits. Bear in mind, we do about 10 minutes of qualifying here. Only 10 minutes and change. Chonix, if you don't mind, can you please leave the lobby? Really, this is an esports lobby you're not meant to be in. Oh, that didn't look too good for her. Yeah, that's 3 seconds. Yeah, that was quite clear as day, that one. I'll have for Javi. Have we got anybody on a flying lap right now? I think Kepler is the only one. BX, down the list. Everyone coming out the pits now. Yeah, Kepler is the only one. So, that's who we're going to watch. Kepler on a lap. Oh, Pasty come out. He's ghosted. I think that might have cost Kepler a lap. I think that may have cost Kepler a lap. He didn't. I don't think Pasty realised. Oh, that's not good. We'll wait and see where he is in terms of his time in a minute here. He's probably still going to be up because he hasn't actually set a valid lap, or prolific valid lap yet in this qualifying session. I think he may have just got hindered. 38.7 isn't the worst time though in the first sector. We saw a couple of first sectors quicker than that. We will wait and see if there's been a massive impact on that lap though. Looked a little bit dodgy, but down the hill we go. Still got it. Still running through the lap here, Capello, going through the long right-hander here. Alsace, hello Rupi. We go down into the hairpin with Kepler. He might be about to hit oncoming traffic, as oncoming traffic is struggling to get themselves together here. Here we go. Is there going to be people in the way? Looks like one got out the way. Zico got out the way fairly nicely. Hurricane might be in the way of Kepler here. We're coming toward the end of the lap. The traffic might have played another part. It looked like it might have at the start. At the end, 40s a 50.0. Good enough for fourth right now. It looked like the traffic was definitely playing its part in that lap. Kepler may have some more in the tank. It won't be this lap though, because he's already stuck behind one of the Aero GT drivers. Well, a mare of a... Well, I don't know if it's a mare of a qualifying session for... Mare of a qualifying session here for Arix. Maybe a bit more expectation on them today with who they signed midweek. Signed in quotes. They're using the last 3 races here. BX still the leading car in this qualifying session. The Porsche should also be good here, and that's why Alessandro currently sits second. BX just a little bit wide there. We'll see if he continues on with the lap he's currently putting together. We've got about 50 seconds left until the time expires here. So a bunch of these drivers will be on their final laps. Here comes BX to the line. Is it going to be better than his 49.4? It is. It's a 49.1. 49.1 here for BX. Got a couple of drivers to the line now. I can't tell. Oh, the Kepler is in the wall. So that's the end of his qualifying. Javi the next one to the line. 49.9. Alessandro to the line. 49.0, and it's enough for pole position as it stands. What a lap here for Alessandro in the Porsche. Kepler is qualifying, I think, is up at the moment. Perry 50.1. We will continue to take a look. We're about to head towards the end of qualifying here. A couple of guys have got onto their final laps. We're trying to figure out who it is. Pasty and Kepler are now to the line. Kepler is not going to improve. Pasty 51.7. Improvement, but not by a lot. Who is the next one to the line here then? Prime Call, the next one to the line. Alessandro, at the moment, doing enough to be on pole. It is far different. It's a far shout from what we expected this qualifying to be to the line. Here comes Prime Call. It's a 50.6. The next one to the line after that should be... Yeah, Zico. Here we go, to the line. Zico. Is it an improvement? Is there a pole position in his future? No, there is not. It's a 49.9. It's not even an improvement. BX... We'll see if BX is currently running. There's definitely about 4 or 5 guys that are still driving the car. Qualifying isn't over yet. Alessandro has a 10th advantage. We don't know what BX has done through the first 2 sectors. You would expect that BX is the one that's closest. It doesn't look like he's going to do much of anything here, though. He's not. Alessandro beats out BX. Is there going to be an improvement later on? Alessandro is the next to the line, trying to cement his pole position. Who is he going to be able to improve? It doesn't look like he will. He will not. Finish the next one. Finish up to the line as well. Perry, the couple of guards in front. I think Aura is just about to come to the line as well. Perry had a bit of a slide there. Aura, 49.6. Up to 30 goes. And not an improvement here for Perry, which allows for Finn to be the last one to the line. Not to improve either. And Alessandro is on pole position. 49.0. Good enough for pole. Then it's BX. And then Aura is a half second back. I think... I don't really know which team would be happier with that qualifying, to be honest with you. Probably Valkyrie because they got pole, but in terms of Project Platypus versus Arix, which seemingly seems to be the battle for the title this season, Arix are 3, 5, and 6, whereas Project Platypus are 2, 4, and 8. It's not a lot that separates them, and I think if that was the final standings here, in the end, if we came to the end of the 38 laps and this was the final standings, I think Project Platypus might be the happier of the two teams. Could be a fairly interesting scenario that's about to unfold here. I'll take the screenshots of the two. So let's have a look at an entire second from Alessandro all the way back. Include if you want to go over 8.5 tenths of a second all the way back to Zico in 4th. Is a massacre of a qualifying. Top 2, half attempt clear of anybody else. So this could be, if this qualifying is anything to go by, this could be a slaughter. It's just a case of who's going to win it. But yeah, you got the look here. 49.8, 49.9, 50.0 in 6th and 7th. Over a second back as Beetlejuice in 7th. Perry as well, 8 thousandths of a second separate those two. Owen 50.1, 50.6 for Prime Call, 51s for Hurricane and Pasty. Those two are probably doomed to a stay in Lobby B this time round. That's your second page there, Ross. Don't know if I took a screenshot there, so I'm going to take it again just in case. But yeah, that is a large spread. And an abnormally large spread for a race of this caliber. I don't think Alessandro gives two shits about it, though, to be honest with you. He is absolutely flying right now, and BX seems to be the only one anywhere near him. We'll see if we'll see who has and hasn't survived in a minute here. Looks like Ross shouldn't be too far away from telling us who is in Lobby 8 and who is in Lobby B. Bearing in mind, Cavar and Pegasus are the two fighting for 5th. We've got the fight at the top. Seeing Nora in the Ford GT on Alsace seemed uncomfortable. Yeah, he picked the Ford GT. I guess for Monza? That's the only thing that can pop into my head. Because that's the only race left where the Ford GT makes remote amount of sense. Let's have a look. So we're going down the 14 here in my lobby. We will currently end that now that we have the set up. So it's Alessandro, BX, Aura, Zico, Javi, Caplaro, Finn, Perry, Owen, Fluffy Butt, Hollywood, Lataria, triple! Oh, triple for Cavar! And that's clutch at the most... Well, it's just extremely clutch at the best of times for Cavar. That is about as clutch as the team can get at this point of this point of the season. Bearing in mind they're fighting Pegasus for a flat position in the final position in this entire rodeo here on week 7 and week 8. False start check, fastest first. We know we're setting the order, so it's set by host. Everything else should be correct. Okay, apparently we aren't allowing me to do that today. It didn't like that for some reason. It does now. Yeah, Cavar, three of them in this lobby. Also, Long Chicken is in this lobby as well, which is a brilliant name. Prime Cole is in 13th as well, so... Wow. What a massive turn of events at the start of this round. Just gonna very quickly see if I can get a head start on starting this grid. That was a nice lap. It was a pretty good lap. Not even gonna lie, 49 flat. You and BX seem to be on a roll at the moment. So there's 14. Everyone is in. Everyone is up. Entered in as well. So let's have a look at here. So it's Alessandro with a 49 flat, who sits himself on top of the pile at the moment. Then it's BX for Project Platypus in second. After that, it is Aura in third. Let me see if I can remember his name. With Zico in fourth, Javi in fifth, then it's Caplaro in sixth, sorry. Finn in seventh, then it's Perry. After that, it's Owen, then it's Fluffy Butt, Hollywood, Latari, Prime Cole, and then Long Chicken. I really do hope that Long Chicken does well, though. He is in Project Racing United, not Pegasus. So, massive blow to Pegasus that there's 3 Cavar drivers in this lobby. We're going to put up a starting soon sign here for Lobby A, where everyone's had a couple of minutes here. We'll go with 22. Everyone will have a couple of minutes to sort out any aero issues, any sort of what they're putting together here for this race. But yeah, I don't really know who's the happier of the two teams to start this off. At the top, obviously fighting for that final 5th position in next week's race is Cavar's having a blinder. They're going to be extremely happy right now because all it'll take is one good finish from one of their drivers, and that pretty much does it. But for now, we'll see what the carnage is about to unfold in the race. I'm going to do one very quick last look over these settings so people know that people who have watched these streams before know that there's sometimes a bit of an issue. Everyone seems to pile on it. But yeah, everything looks good. I think everything is set up. One last look at the standings. So it's Alessandro, BX, Aura, Zico, Javi, Caplaro, Finn, Perry, Owen. Then it's Fluffy Bud, Hollywood, Latari, Prime Cole, and Long Chicken. We are good to go. Right, boys. 6th race of the season. A lot on the line. Who's going to win? BX and Alessandro on the front row. Alessandro starting on pole, which is the unlikely scenario we didn't see coming at the beginning of the night. A lot of strategy to be played here as well. They got softs on every single car. Are we seeing the red lights? We are seeing the red lights. 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and away we go. Down towards turn 1. It's a bad start for the Porsche. And BX has hit the front already. As we head through turn 1 now, BX from Alessandro, Zico, Aura and Javi fighting it out through the first corner as well. Aura's a little bit on the grass. He's lost out a little bit here. He's down in the 6th. Javi up in the 3rd, so they're just kind of switching positions here at the start here for Arix. So Zico is still just being a little bit annoying in behind for them. For Project Platypus, he goes to the inside now, and Javi looking to take 3rd. Does get 3rd. There's a slide from someone behind. I'm not entirely sure which car that was. There's a lot of the BMWs behind and not having a good time. There's also a Renault in here for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why someone would choose the Renault. That's an interesting choice. But yeah, Zico up in the 3rd. Alessandro only dropped the 1 position, which is a decent standard by the Porsche standing starts. Javi now right beside Zico. These two fighting it down into the 2nd sector. Javi's got the inside line, but Zico's got the speed, and those two are still fighting out. Now the long right-hander, it's just a case of which line do you take in this one. It looks like Zico's got the far better line. That's for certain, as he has opened a little bit of a gap in that corner. Capello is now fighting off Perry, and well, this is best case scenario, I think, for Project Platypus at the start of this race, because I don't really see Aura anywhere. I think Aura may have had a mistake. I think he has. He's at the back. Not entirely sure what happened. Doesn't have damage, but he's got a long way to come back now. Should still have the pace on some of these guys, though. And whilst everyone is still right beside each other, it's going to be a difficult time for them to separate. And if they can't separate, that'll bring Aura back into it a lot quicker. You see him just approaching into the background of that shot. It's a pretty good shot down towards down from turn 1 down toward the final corner of the lap. But for right now, BX followed by Alessandro. BX followed by Alessandro, followed by Zico. And it's not the best of starts for certain. We continue on here. Looks like, yeah, BX has got a little bit of a gap. 7/10 of a second. It's going to be a strategy race, this. It's going to come down to it eventually. But we'll wait and see how long that's going to take to kick in. It looks like Fluffy Butts had an amazing start. This would be the nail in the coffin, I think, for Pegasus. Because at the beginning of the day, they could only get outscored by about 3 positions total. Here comes Perry to the inside on Capello. Doesn't get it. But yeah, they could only get outscored by Cavar by about 3 positions worth of points total. It was 5 points the gap coming into the day. And that's roughly about 3 positions in Lobby A, and a little bit more than that and some change in Lobby B if that was going to be the scenario, but it isn't. And 3 Cavar boys are in Lobby A, and one of them is currently in 7th. They are putting a stamp, they're putting a marker down already. Then dropped to 8th off the start. Owen in 9th. He's where he was. Oh, that did not look good there for Long Chicken. A little bit too deep. And he might be brought all the way back towards there. And I was about to say he might be brought all the way back towards Aura, who is already by. Up in the 13th goes Aura. Prime Call the next one up. Then Lotari after that. We've got a little bit of a train forming in the mid-pack here. Owen trying to go to the inside of Finn. Doesn't look like he's got it. The front is still very much as it was. Still BX from Alessandro from Zico. And as it stands, the gap well and truly extending at the top of this leaderboard between Arix and Project Platypus. The big gap going into today was 42. Here comes Owen to the inside of Finn. Is he going to get it? A little bit of contact on the way through. Should still get it though. And he is just about in front of Finn as he takes position off of him into the first corner of Sector 2. It didn't look great. The exit isn't going to help him. Now they're side by side again. Finn deep and a little bit of contact, and Owen pushes him wide. Owen still has it. Finn trying to go for maybe a little bit of a switchback attempt there. They have dropped off the back with the fight now between Owen, Finn and Hollywood. They have dropped off the back of Perry and off of Fluffy Butt as well for good measure. You see the train just in the foreground of our shot there. Looks like Hollywood might be about to go after Finn as well. We'll wait and see on that one. We go up the hill. Let's have a look at what's going on just a little bit further in front. Javi in fourth, Kepler in fifth, so it's not too bad right now, Barrett. Again, very much a similar position to what we were in Tokyo last week. That one was early on turned into damage limitations. This one they would have come into with a lot more expectation, and at this point in time it has fell very, very flat. Continue on through the first sector here. Perry just behind Kepler. Those two haven't changed at this point in time. Cavar, Fluffy Butt is hanging on as well. Here comes Finn to the inside of Owen again. Defend nicely there. Owen to hold on to 8th. As we continue to go back, then you got Prime Cole, who's actually 1 second now ahead of Aura, who's got past Latari as well, who's dropped to the back. So these two have dropped to the back, Latari and Long Chicken. If you're Pegasus, you're happy with Latari being at the back. That is a little bit less damage that could be repaired here, bearing in mind the winner of Lobby B gets, I think it's roughly about 8th or 9th worth of points in Lobby A. So there is very much a opportunity still hanging in the balance. If there's a couple of mistakes still to come. Aura is going after Prime Call. Hollywood is not that far forward after that. So it's still looking like Aura has a chance to move its way back through the field sooner rather than later. It's only lap 4 of 38. Looks like they're kind of catching back up to this train. Owen not that far off the back of Fluffy, but which means we'll join 4th all the way back towards what Aura and Prime Call towards the back of the field there. You say you'd like to forget Tokyo, Tobias. I don't think I can let you do that. Don't think I can let you do that somehow. Yeah, and Owen is now 1.1 seconds behind Fluffy, but the gap is coming down. We will expect to see them tacking onto this this group then. And this will be a train probably about 8 cars long. You can see they're all just about a second back. We continue to go further back here. Aura's got right back up to the back of Prime Call now. Long Chicken and Latari 5 seconds off the pace of this this little train that we're seeing form. Prime Call 1.2 seconds off the back of Hollywood. Aura needs to get by just for Arix, if nothing else. To get by Prime Call so he can get himself in the fight here. Hello, Rabak. Nice to see all the FGR lads back in. I know it ended on a rather sour note a season ago, but it's nice to see you all just starting to join back. But yeah. Aura right on the back of Prime Call now as we head through this corner. It's the closest that we're going to get to an overtake, I think, at the moment. It looks like Hollywood may have had a mistake as well. Here comes Prime Call going to the inside. Potentially no. Could have made something of that. Decided not to. Aura's going to go around the outside. Try and follow around against with Hollywood to the inside now. And he gets past Prime Call. There's a nice nifty little move there. He got Hollywood right in front of him. That's why he chose the Ford GT. Not the person you'll be able to give you an answer to that one. That one, you're going to have to... You're going to have to chase up for the Arix lads for that one. I'm not entirely sure why he chose. I can only think Monza. I can only think Monza, but bear in mind it's double points next week. Yeah, it's double points from next week, as we did last season. Yeah, it's Monza and Bathurst to end off this season. It's going to be one wild ride. A lot of walls and a lot of crashes. Fluffy butt right on the back of Perry. He's been attached to Perry's car the entire night so far, and I think he would take that. Just use Perry to guide him all the way through. Would not be too disappointed in that in the slightest. Kepler is second ahead here. Javi 1.1 after that, and then it's 3 seconds ahead of Zico, who's got a second that splits him and Alessandro and BX have been roughly the same distance since the dawn of time. And yeah, these front three have not really separated themselves at all. Apart from that, I think Alessandro might have made a mistake, because now BX is over the second mark, and Zico's caught all the way back up. They lost about half a second there, I think. I don't think it's going to be too good there either. That was a little bit of a mare there from Alessandro. A couple of corners where he would have wished that he could have avoided that. Here comes Zico round the outside. They're going to go too wide into the chicane. This is not the greatest of ideas. Zico deep, Alessandro shallow, and Zico is ahead. Zico is ahead of Alessandro for a split second. Alessandro to the inside of turn one. Backed out of it. Should not have backed out of that. Should have gone straight back. Try and get the position off of Zico, because he needs to try and go after BX. And I don't know if he had the tyres to do so, but he needed to hold that second place if he could, by essentially all means necessary. Because now Project Platypus are 1-2. Any common sense is just to allow BX to build as much of a gap as humanly possible. Guarantee a win, then move on. Yeah, BX had the best tyres of the three, I think. Yeah, BX does have the best tyres of the three. It should be fairly decent here for BX. Yeah, BX should. Yeah, you can see the tail off between the three. Alessandro definitely on the worst end of this. Surprising. BX is not really opening a gap. Alessandro is second now behind Zico, and it's gone perfectly right now for Project Platypus. This is about as good as they could have hoped for going into next week. That guy's going to extend by a decent amount again. Aura's all the way up in the 7th. He's going to go around Beetle. And he is. He's going to get himself up in the 7th here. Prime Course here as well. Owen went into the pits. I think Fluffy Butt and Hollywood also went into the pits. So that will explain why he's up into 7th. He only gained the position on Finn in the on the track that we missed out. So he's up in the 7th. He's got 3.1 to Perry, who's now detached from Caplero, as Javi and Caplero are just driving into the distance a little bit. I appreciate the compliment, Rabak. I appreciate it. We continue on. Caplero, Javi, those two are trying to fight their way back through the field. They've got to get to Alessandro now. They've got to get something going, because it's not really gone their way at all. It's been one-way traffic in this race. And the only roadblock that could have potentially ended that one road traffic is now behind the second driver for Project Platypus, and that is literally the worst case scenario going into double point next week. If its gap turns into 50, 60, 70, it could do with the way that it's going right now, then this could be disaster going into Monza. I mean, all it takes is one bad week on a double points week and everything's back up in the air for Bathurst, but you've got to then force Project Platypus into that bad week, because they don't make mistakes themselves. Unless BX has a 20-second lead, and that's apparently when he wants to make his mistakes. So, yeah, it's just the point. It might be the tipping point here. We'll wait and see. BX 1.1 up on Zico. Zico is flying at the moment. He's got worse tyres. He's got worse tyres than BX, but he's absolutely crushing that time at the moment. Alessandro dropping off the pace. That Porsche is not doing him any favours. Also, Perry overtaken by Aura. Perry overtaken by Aura. Aura up into 6th. This is on track at the moment, so he has got over and past the third driver of Project Platypus, so that will help out. Oh, and look at that, Prime Call against Finn. Gets him. Prime Call up into 8th on the track at the moment. That is pretty good driving for him. He's having a nice day at the office. He's not usually a driver we see in here very often. Finn's in the pits, Perry in the pits, Javi in the pits, Alessandro in the pits. Alessandro's going to have some sort of strategy because he has lost out that first stint. Or up in the 4th. And it makes nicer reading now than it did about 10 minutes ago. And then in this race here for RX, but again, Zico, BX, I have a comfortable gap. As of right now, a comfortable gap for these two is it's insurmountable. Because if you can let Zico and BX work together, they get themselves a gap. That gap starts to open up. Good luck. Just at that point, good luck. You're going to need it. Over the next driver to chase down is currently Capello, which is his teammate today and for the next couple of weeks as well. 4GT will be extremely good at Monza. We would expect Aura to kind of clean house there. Not entirely sure the following week at Bathurst. I will admit that Zico has got a lot better in the last half a year, especially since the last update. His issue before was tires, and he would absolutely chew them out. He does not do that anymore. To the point where he's not that far slow and that far worse off than BX, who now goes into the pits. Kepler following in BX into the pits now, got a little bit more fuel. And you got Aura, who's significantly worse on the fuel up to this point, compared to the 12 and 11, the driver in front of him, BX. Start on a soft, come out on a soft. For reference to those guys who are new, who haven't been here for a while, I know we've got the FGR guys back. I don't know if you guys remember entirely the rules, but you have to use 2 different compounds of tires. You have to use a soft and a medium. That was thrown out the window last week with the intermediate tires. That happened at Tokyo, caused a bit of carnage at the start. And then we had everyone figure it out from there. But here, you have to use a medium and a soft, because let's be honest, nobody's using a hard here. No one has a reason to. Yeah, medium and soft at some point in this race. So BX will have to stop at least a couple more times, I reckon, in this one. I don't think the softs are going to last too long. They only put 41% of the tank in as well. So that would indicate a relatively soon stop. Alessandro now back to 1.7. Alessandro on the soft as well. He's got roughly about the same fuel tank at the moment on BX as well. He's 5 seconds up on Kepler, who came out the pits. Kepler ahead of Owen, then Javi behind that. Owen on mediums, Javi's on mediums, Kepler on the softs with half fuel again. So we already have a variance of strategy. We already have it. And we were saying this before, that Alsace is a very good track for strategy in terms of watching it from a mutual. Because I would not like to be a driver's position and try and guess at what strategy is quicker. We're just about holding his car together there. But yeah, we already see the variance starting to come through. Aura's got past a long chicken again, who's on the soft, so that's very dead soft at that. It's gone very long, to be honest with you, as well. On his stint, on lap 10, Fluffy Button Prime call the next 2 cars there. Oh, long chicken to the wall! Long chicken, a little bit too deep, a little bit too long, shall we say, as he goes into the wall there at the chicane and into the pits, which is not a surprise at all here. Aura's on the softs. He went a little bit over half fuel. Let's see where we are. Everyone's taken their first pit. Zico's in third, you're right. maybe a little bit more fuel, I think, than Alessandro. He is 3 seconds back, and not entirely sure where the difference has come there. 150 on the last lap, 156. That's him going into the pits, 52 before that. Seems to be doing a lot better than Alessandro at the moment, but I'm not entirely sure where the extra time has come from. Potentially undercut. How many races are left in this season? So this is week 6, Millis. This is the final week before we go into one lobby, and that'll be double points for 2 weeks, and then we end the season. So we've got Monza and Bathurst next Saturday and the Saturday after that. Season should end at the end of January, and then that'll mean the next one should start up with the rest of them about the end of February times. It is Monza and Bathurst in that order for next week, and then the week after that, both double points. 1.4 now between BX and Alessandro. Alessandro is having a very good early stint, and this maybe suggests what Ben was saying in the chat a minute ago, where the undercut might be his strategy here, because he has got a very, very good early stint. He is very quick, chunking out BX's times, and then he tapers off very quickly. So he's trying to get as many good laps in as he physically can before the tyres give up on him. So he just kind of, maybe an extra stop might be incoming for Alessandro. We'll wait and see on that one. Zico 2.3 after that. Kepler 3.7 on Zico. And Owen 4.8 off the back of Kepler, Javi, and Aura are 6th and 7th. Aura right on the back of Javi. The real question now, they're on different strategies, so I'd assume that the call here is if Aura gets close enough to the back of Javi, Javi's just going to let him go. Because I don't really see where the strategy would make sense if that's not the case. Maybe a little bit of team orders. Fluffy but 4 seconds off the back of Ori in 8th right now. I think I would take that if given the opportunity. I think it might be this lap. They call for a switch. I don't really see the point of Aura staying behind Javi. Javi needs to keep up with Owen, but Aura needs to get by, because Aura's laps are dwindling away. On those soft tires, there we go, makes sense. You knew it was coming. A good bit of strategy there from Arix. Let the guy on the softer tires loose, see if he can turn a stone or turn a leaf, try and get something going here, because you need it. You need to get him towards Zico as quickly as humanly possible. The BX has got himself about 5 tenths of a second on Alessandro this lap. The gap just starting to open back up the other way. Zico 1.7 seconds instead of 2.7 seconds, a far better lap. 50.0, 50.6, about 4 tenths of a second actually on that lap alone. The 50.0 is roughly about what his teammate was doing actually. So BX and Zico seem to be rather in sync in their strategies and even their timesheets at the moment. Kepler 50.9, we'll have to find a little bit more pace than that. 51.7 for Owen, 50.6 for Aura, roughly where Alessandro's pace is at the moment. I don't think he will be too disappointed with that. I think he's got more time off his sleeve though. Javi 52.5, he did have to give up his position to Aura on that lap. A little bit of false sense of security there. 51.7 on the medium tyres for Fluffy, but... Oh, there goes Perry to the inside of Prime Call! We might have just switched here at the right time. Prime Call stays there for now. Up in the stage in 9th. Perry's hanging on to the back of him. Can he get a better exit? Is Perry on soft? No, they're both on medium. And Perry, for some reason, forced to the inside. I'm not entirely sure why Perry didn't just back to the outside there. He would have had a clean shot around the outside of this corner, but for some reason went to the inside, hit the grass, and that kind of went stationary. Was not a good move. A split-second decision. It was not a good one. And that's going to allow for Hollywood and Finn to come back into this. That's bizarre. Should have gone to the outside. If it didn't work on the outside, he wouldn't have lost as much time. It should have not have gone to the inside there. He might go to the inside here, though. To the inside! Should get it! Or is Prime Call going to hang on? No, it looks like he's got a better exit. Primeco still has it for now. They're going to go side by side. Perry backs out. Primeco holds on. Well, for a split second, he's got a lot of grass down up the hill here. They're still side by side. Hollywood's getting himself involved. They're down the hill now. Who's going to get themselves up in the ninth? It's Perry. And now Primeco's got the inside line against Hollywood. Switched with the inside line in the final step of the chicane. Hollywood's got by as well. What a move. And it looks like Finn might be trying his luck, and it's a free for Primeco's just had the worst final sector he could have imagined. But he has managed to fight one back straight away for a split second before Finn gets that one. Nice little drive in between the four drivers there, and Primeco's come off worse. Majorly worse. But again, the Cavar are not going to be complaining with this. And I don't think Perry will be either. I think he could have saved himself a couple of tenths a second if he'd done the smart thing the lap prior, but it didn't really change an awful lot in the end. Now he's got 4 seconds to go for the BMW in front of him. They're both on the mediums tyres as well, so Fluffy, but having a good race. 4 seconds off the back of Habby, but that was more to be expected than anything else. If you see Cavar driver fighting Javi or someone like that in the near future, the world might be ending. But I am majorly impressed with the stride that Cavar have made this season. Because I said at the beginning of the season, for those who were here for the preview, that Cavar's, if I was Cavar, my only aim this season would be building blocks. Last season they got torched by everybody constantly. And then the building blocks would just be to make and move up the standings every season. But this time, they're just going flat out. They might be about to turn in to that 5th spot, that 5th seed. It would be pretty good. It would be a pretty good story here. But we're going to have to see whether or not that is what ends up happening. Aura is right on the back of Owen now. 6 seconds off the back of Kepler after that. And Alessandro's been overtaken by Zico at the front of this grid. And BX has a 3.5 second advantage. This might be over. They have a 16 second advantage to Aura in 6th, who would be considered the next fastest driver on the track, who's going to go to the inside of Owen here. Can he get it? Still hanging there. Still trying to put his nose in. Doesn't get it here. Maybe attacking the outside into the beginning of the second. No. Maybe a switchback on a better exit. He does get it now with a switchback on the better exit. Nice move. Or up in a 5th. A little bit of a slide there into his downhill left-hander, sorry. The right-hander is coming up. And over up in the 5th, he's got a long way to go to catch his teammate. I assume that's got to be his aim. Alessandro is falling apart a little bit here. And he's got to hope for a strategy to kind of bring him back. Yeah, you are right, Matej. It is Monza and Bathurst, the final 2 weeks of the season here. It's going to be one hell of an end. 2 iconic tracks to end it up as well. I'm so looking forward to it. Grandstand finish, especially if we can make it a little bit closer in Monza, that's a certain. Get that grandstand finish at Bathurst. That's what I want. As a commentator, that is what I want, and that's what the mutual want as well, as to just go all the way to the wire, the final lap of the final race, if we can get it. But for now, we aren't getting it, because BX and Zico are flying. This is an extension of the lead. This is going to take a miracle for that not to be the case. Kepler 4 seconds behind Alessandro, or 7.5 off the back of that. Owen and Javi. Javi needs to get past Owen. I don't think there'll be too much in that, realistically. I don't really think they'll be too disappointed either way. They need as many points as they can get as we head into the final 2 weeks, and hope to potentially just even put on a title challenge. It's got the season 1 vibes to it all over again, where we always thought that Arix were on the outside, potentially looking for a title charge, and then that just fell by the wayside toward the end of the season. The structure looked a little bit different there in terms of what happened in a season, but yeah, it looks like we're unfolding in a very similar way now. Looks like Perry comfortably ahead of Hollywood. Then you've got Finn behind that. Primeco after that. Lotari and Long Chicken are right at the back. Those two tailed off. Not really going to be a factor for much of this race from here on out. Alessandro to the pits again. Okay, so the second part of Alessandro's pit stop strategy is now in swing. Alessandro's got to be hoping for something to come back his way, because right now it is not going his direction at all. I think he's just got to sit in there and trust the strategy. The strategy was right. Looks like the medium tires have just gone on the car. We'll go forward. It is the medium tires going on the car. There's Perry going against Alessandro. He could do a decent job here. A little bit of a benefit if he can get himself in front of Alessandro. Hold him up a little bit. Alessandro now defending the inside line here. Perry's going around the outside. I don't think Perry's got the tires of anything realistically to fight this. Yeah, Alessandro just going to hold on. Still going into the second sector. Alessandro now should be relatively up to speed. This should be just starting to break away a little. Fluffy up 3.3 seconds up the road. If nothing else, I think Alessandro is pulling Perry towards the Cav boy in 7th right now. Alessandro, a little bit of a slide there. Might give Perry an open door, maybe an opportunity. Perry a tenth of a second behind. Lost it a little bit there on the long right hand on the long right hander, and yeah, this should be starting to open the other way now, I think. Alessandro's had the pace all day. It's just whether or not he's got the pace on the different set of tyres. Right now, it looks like he has, because he is starting to pull away. Owen 1.6 ahead of Javi. You can see Javi in the background of the shot there. It's a lot closer than it was before. Aura's cleared a bit of a gap, but he isn't really catching up to Kepler at all. With about 0.3 of a second here, 0.3 of a second there. That's not going to be close enough to get to Kepler, realistically. Never mind, Zico and company out in front. 6 seconds and 9 seconds to BX. Nearly 10 seconds, actually, the BX out in front. He definitely done Monza. He definitely done the Ford for Monza. That's for certain. Not entirely sure. I feel like he could have picked a better car for the spread, but as a whole, yeah, he definitely gone Ford for Monza. I don't know realistically how good it is at Bathurst. I wouldn't assume that the Ford is that good around Bathurst, especially the uphill section. But they definitely gone Ford GT for Ford. He'll win next week. 100%. It'll be more shocking to me next week if that doesn't happen. Now, Javi is starting to close down Owen just a little bit here. The tyres definitely favouring the Aston Martin. Low speed track obviously didn't get much of a boost in the last update, so the Aston Martin not as good here as it maybe would have been around other places, the medium speed tracks in particular. Cavar, Fluffy Butt, 5 seconds back, 2 seconds ahead of Alessandro. Perry must have spun. I think Perry spun. He has, yeah, 201. Perry's made a mistake. The X is now into the pits, and Perry made a mistake. Oh, and that might tail him off with the 3 at the back. If you're Alex, that's not news you'll be too sad to see. You need every point dropped possible from Project Platypus right now. It looks like Perry's just giving up a few positions worth of it. Finn against Hollywood there. Owen into the pits now. Javi's staying out, so Javi's going to just try and figure out where he is with BX directly in front of him. BX 3 seconds in front of him, and BX is actually 1.3 off the back of Aura. And this is where things could get particularly interesting. I don't know how long Aura has left on his tyres. There's another soft stint here for BX, so I assume it's probably going to be soft, medium potentially, or soft, medium still to go here for BX, depending on how much the time he wants to spend on that medium set of tyres. Or has a chance that if he can just put up a stout defence, bring it back a little bit, maybe earn Kepler a little bit of a backdoor entrance here. The BX is obviously on fire. There is, up to this point, not really been a spot of where anybody stopped him. Alessandro had a Porsche, so it's obviously going to get badly off the line, and it went really badly off the line in terms of losing that position almost immediately. Aura sliding a little bit up the hill there. Not the greatest traction. BX going to the outside. They're still side by side. Oh, they've come together. They've come together, BX. Sliding the car just a little bit. They came together. BX is in front. BX tried to the outside, got squeezed a little bit. And that's just hard racing. BX did well to save the car, to be honest with you. I was just a little bit of the back of my mind, expected BX just to slide on into the wall, and it would have been a lot more interesting had BX done that. He does have fresh tyres, you are right. But it was definitely a lot of hard racing up the hill. That's a certain, or down the hill, shall I say. BX is definitely by. Aura may have cost him a little bit of time. Zico has now pit as well. He's out ahead of Javi, 1.2 seconds. Oh, it's like about 3.2 that split Zico and BX, so not an awful lot of time has changed hands there. Oh, that's a little bit of a slide. It looks more controlled slide than anything else. There by Zico, down the hill. Zico is closing in on BX, just slightly. Alessandro now on the back of Fluffy Butt as well. Kepler pitted onto the medium tyres. He's now 6 seconds off the back of Alessandro. And we'll see where Aura comes out in reference to where Kepler is. And that's the kind of scenario we'll know what is going on. Looks like Alessandro being held up a little bit. He's being held up a little bit here by Fluffy Butt. Down the hill they go. Into the final sector. Alessandro's got the cleaner tyres, the fresher tyres. And no way through. And yeah, he's just stuck. Just stuck a little bit now. BX went on to another set of softs where Alessandro went on to mediums. Could be interesting. Alessandro again not getting an easy way through here by Fluffy Buzz, putting up a stout defense. A couple of sectors now where Fluffy Buzz had the number of the Falcon driver behind him. Javi now 6 seconds up the road. I am still very intrigued at how all these strategies are going to play out. That's where everything's going to be kind of just focused on, isn't it? We'll see whether or not things are going to change. And now Sandro is still behind Fluffy, but he still isn't passed. And the longer he spends here, the more time he's losing. You know, BX is out in front. Zico is out in front. They're just driving away. Alessandro's just dropping off the pace the longer we go. 13.6, 13.7. The gap between them in the front. 14 seconds is now the gap between Alessandro and the two of them, and between BX and Zico as well. And Alessandro. He's got to get it at some point here. Fluffy Butt has done an amazing lap of defending. That is about as good of a lap of defending as you'll see around here. Down the hill they go again. Alessandro has been stuck. Pressure tyres. Arguably a more suited car to the track. And Alessandro, with all the pace in the world, they're both synchronized slips there. They both slip the front end in the chicane. Alessandro might finally be going for it on the inside of turn 1. Finally gets it done. It took him far too long though. Far too long. And Fluffy Butt's not done. Fluffy Butt's not done yet. They came together just a little bit there around the outside. The Carval driver's giving it every little last bit he has. And I think he might be out of gas in the tank now because Alessandro is by. And there's definitely not under the threat now into the next couple of corners. Alessandro up in the 4th. Javi the next driver in front. I think Javi still has a pit stop to go. He'll end on the soft tyres at that point. I just don't know realistically whether or not Alessandro has enough in the tank here. I think it's game over. I think BX and Zika might have the one too. And if so, that is a massive day on a day that potentially would have expected to go the other direction. We had a surprise pulse there. Bearing in mind that this is not to discredit Falcon in the slightest, by the way. They are third. There has been points in this season where, with a little bit more luck, or a little bit more consistency, they would be in this fight as well. That isn't the case. They took a large hit last week off of a really, really bad day of the office. Kind of put them out of contention. For now, anyway. Not unless they're going to get some massive races in the next 3 weeks. But the third, they are just the third wheel in the bigger battle we have for the title at the moment. And even then, that title just starting to slide through 6 weeks to being one-sided. Arix have to respond. They have to respond before we get to Bathurst. Because if they don't, then we're just going to pile on the pressure for the, well, it's going to be pressure piled on them for the next 2 weeks. And, well, historically, in the last couple of seasons of racing here in the Esports League, Arix have not responded very well to pressure. They had a couple of races where they did. They had the one at Nürburgring in Season 1, which was a statement drive from Javi at the end of that season. The title was effectively wrapped up going into that race at the Nürburgring. Double points there. We had the 2-hour-long race instead of 2 1.5 longs, which is what we have now. And then in Season 2, they went back and forth. Hey, like, they almost lost that on the final day as well. And it's just to see, as a whole, they've had their chances. They've had their chances, realistically, Arix. Well, I've got to capitalise on one of them eventually. Javi now into the pits. Alessandro stayed out 16 seconds off the back of Zico and BX. He is in trouble. He is not winning this race. Not without a miracle, not without a mistake. Here comes Finn as well. So, a couple of the medium tire drivers are pitting. The real question is it another set of mediums or is it a set of softs? If it is another set of mediums, which I think Javi has gone on to another set of mediums. He has, there it is. Behind Aura at the moment. Ahead of Owen, so that's decent for Javi. Gained 1 position, lost 1 to his teammate. So, at the whole, you don't lose anything if you give up a position to your teammate because it's a team's championship, not a solos championship. It's Arix, it would be Arix taking points off Arix, and that's not possible. They're on the same team. So, as it stands, 1-2 for Project Platypus, 4-5-6 here for Arix. And I think that's a large swing. I don't know where Perry is right now. He's in 11th. Yeah, it's not gone well. Hollywood's in 13th now. Latari's in 14th for Kavar. 2:13 there. Might have been a pit stop. Yeah, it would have been a pit stop that. I don't really know. I don't know what's going on in Lobby B for reference. I do not know what is going on with Pegasus in the other lobby. That's the battle we're watching for the final seed in the races next week and beyond. I don't really know if a 13 and 40 if it's going to get it done. Long Chicken in front of him still has to pit, so that's a position back for Hollywood, potentially a position back for Latari as well. Perry won't. Oh, Perry will because he's on soft, so that's never with no hope in hell in him go to the end. Here comes Finn, and Perry fighting it through the hairpin. Gets it. Perry should have it on the outside here. Finn's not going to give it up. He will actually now. He backs out, heading up the hill. The medium tires, the fresh medium tires for Finn versus the fresh softs for Perry. Finn potentially going to the end here, and Perry is going to do 2 sets of softs at the very least. 17 laps, not 17 laps, 14 laps to the end. Well, 14 laps to the end now, so probably a 7 and an 8 in there somewhere for Perry at the end of this race. Let's see what else is going on. Prime Cole there with Fluffy Butt. Fluffy Butt would preferably, he's actually pitted sooner than Prime Cole, but there's not too much of a discrepancy between them. It's like 2 or 3 laps at this point in time. So Fluffy Butt is going to be hoping to start, well, just hoping to drive away now. He's got to get it going. Get away from Prime Coles to solidify 8th. If he can do that, it would be a pretty good time for Calvar. It would be one very, very big step in the right direction. If the other two can just start to get themselves going, it will be a slam dunk. He is just under a second ahead of Prime Cole. There's 6 seconds to Owen, who's only 1 second now behind Javi, who hasn't really pressed on since the pit stop. Over 2.2 seconds ahead of that. We'll see how close he is to Kepler in a minute. I want a better look at what Javi's doing against Owen here. 1.1, 1.2. Seems to be relatively similar, actually, from where they were prior. We'll see if that realistically does give Javi enough space. I don't really see where Javi's getting higher than 6th. Aura's gone, Kepler's gone, Alessandro's still gone, even though he's tapered off a little bit. And Zico and VX are flying. They're just well in the distance right now. Let's see. About a 10th quicker than Owen in the last lap, so he's got to find a little bit more pace here. Over 51.5 on the medium last lap. That's about 0.2 of a second quicker than his teammate. So again, maybe a little bit more time needed to be found here by Aura, because Kepler right now is 9 seconds up. A little bit slow on the last lap than Aura, but 9 seconds in the clear. He's 25 seconds off the lead. Alessandro, 8 seconds up here, and then 16 seconds. Well, 14 seconds separates Zico and Alessandro, and 16 from Alessandro to the lead. The real question is which Project Platypus driver is going to win? And on that note, does BX actually like winning a race? That's the question I want answered now. Does BX actually like winning races? Because at this point in time, for those who haven't been around for the last couple of weeks, BX has almost spun away a win in Dragon Trail, spun away a win at Blue Moon, handed a win to Mate last week by pitting and then Gillen by, so has attempted to lose the last 3 races on the trot, and has succeeded in 2 of them. We'll see if he'd actually got the the want to actually win this one. It won't matter, because the first and the second drivers are currently Project Platypus drivers. They won't realistically get close enough to fight, and they won't realistically will fight even if they were that close. They just want to get over the line 1 and 2. They don't really care which order they do it. I'm just trying to drum up some drama. All right now, 5th. Just starting to fight back against Kepler now. It's been about time we see something from Aero in this race. He has fought his way back through the grid, which is pretty fair and pretty good. But in qualifying, he was a half-second down on VX and Alessandro. The race pace, he's been a little bit faster than everyone else in terms of on the mediums, and on the softs, not really had the chance to go after BX or Zico. So I feel like even by his standards, he probably would have thought he could have done better. I think he will still take 5th given what happened to him on the first lap. I think if you gave him 5th, starting 14th, I think he would have taken it. He may have wanted a little bit more, but I think he would have taken it. But realistically, there's got to be a mistake now at the front. Well, if there's a mistake at the front, Alessandro is going to be the first one to take shots at it. Unless it's Alessandro that makes the mistake, and then Kepler is going to get first shout. Oh, that didn't look too good. He got damage. He got damage. Tanked the side of his car, right-hand side on the right-hand chicane there. He got damage in the front of that Ford. Also, Millis, as soon as you... That is crazy. You said that as soon as they hit the wall. I thought I was good at commentator's curse. Javi 2.7 back on Aura right now. They're just very locked in. Very locked in, that 4-5-6 right now. Yeah, I don't see a way that this doesn't end in Eric's 4-5-6, and then the front three is the order depending on what BX realistically wants to do on any given day. Owen 1.6 behind Javi. I don't really see Owen catching that, but I mean, if there's a mistake by Javi, I think Owen would gladly try and pounce on it. Cavar Fluffy in 8th. He looks fairly solid in his position right now. Perry's doing double softs. I don't really see a way that Perry wins that battle either. Got to realistically come up with another, what, 15 seconds to win that battle, I reckon, Perry, over the next 10 laps. It's not impossible. It's a very difficult ask, though. You know, prime call there, 1.3 seconds off the back of Perry. He's done a very good job to be in the top 10 right now. Finn is going one from the end, is on his end stint now, I believe, so wouldn't be too surprising if he's just trying to wait things out. Prime call 30, yeah, prime call's got to pit one more. Perry's got to pit one more, so Finn might get brought back into this battle here. Hollywood is in 12th, he's cleared Long Chicken, who's got Latari now right behind him. Latari could have gone for that. Maybe a bit too respectful there. Long Chicken now heads straight into the pits. Alessandro is in the lead of this race. The only issue, he's got to pit again. The X 2.3 back. Again, then you got Zico about 5, just shy of 5.5 back on Alessandro right now. And then it's Kepler and then Aura. That gap doesn't really seem to be changing. It's medium tyres for BX, medium tyres for Zico. So it is to the end now for the two drivers in the teal blue, the orange and the black in Project Platypus colours. The real question is, does Alessandro have anything up his sleeve right now? That did not look too good and definitely not going to help if he does. Can't imagine that he does. But is it enough? I doubt it. Really, really, really doubt it. Zico has driven a really good race. Zico has gone out and done exactly what he was sent out to do and done it perfectly. His job was to give BX as much support as humanly possible, and he's been as good of a wingman as you could possibly have had. It's been a very good day at the office again for Project Platypus without any mistakes here, as long as there isn't a mistake at the end. We have seen this before, where there are mistakes still to be had. There's 2 seconds now splitting Alessandro and BX. Alessandro's got to put fuel in as well, so it's not like that's the strategy. I think Alessandro's just going to have to settle for third. At the beginning of the day, I think he would have taken that. But when you give him such a great opportunity with on pole, I think he's going to look away, after this one and look a little bit disappointed on himself. Because there was definitely a win in his grasp here. If he had got things right, but he doesn't realistically look like he had. So then again, that's not to discredit what BX and Zico have done today. BX and Zico have done a fantastic drive. They got the track right, they've got the strategy right, they've done everything that's been asked of them. There's no real way to detract on what Project Platypus has done today, apart from what Perry's doing at the back. And that's the hope that Harricks have got to hang on to right now. That's the hope that they've got to hang on to, because right now, in comes Alessandro. That's going to be my right now, because I was got a little bit distracted there, but that's going to be the right now. So in he comes. Yeah, right now, Harricks are not really doing any damage to that 42-point lead. They got 4, 5, 6. I don't know if Kepler has got a pit. I really don't know if Kepler has got a pit. This could be interesting. Or isn't going to pit, but Alessandro's on soft tyres and he's going to the end. So that might be the end of that question. Which now poses a very interesting question. Is Alessandro going to be able to beat out Kepler? The only way is he pits at the end of this lap and goes to soft, but I don't really see the reason. But then again, just playing devil's advocate for a split second here, we have seen this 1,000 times before. We've seen this movie play out so many times, where you don't take the aggressive, you don't go onto the softs, and then the extra stop will catch up eventually. But we've got 7 laps to figure out whether or not that's going to play out again, or whether or not the story's going to be a little bit different this time. Will Kepler sneak onto the bottom step of the podium? That would be a decent run there for Kepler, only getting beat by one position of Zico. I don't think Corver and Javi's got anything against Alessandro here without a mistake, so I think it's just going to be the gain points from 4th to 3rd. Alessandro does make a mistake though. It's not a big enough of a mistake to bring Aura into this fight, so Alessandro's just going to start driving it away again. Javi 4 seconds back, but he has cleared Owen, so Javi's pretty nailed on for 6 here, I think. Cavar fluffy, but 2.2 seconds ahead of Perry. Perry has not closed that gap whatsoever since we said he realistically needs about 15. He isn't getting 15. He isn't even going to get close to 15 on Fluffy, but here. Yeah, I can imagine this as a pit stop here for Perry, and unless this turns out to be arguably the greatest stint I've ever seen Perry do, I really don't see how he gets that position. The real question is whether or not he's going to get positioned on the likes of Finn, on Hollywood even. I don't know how far back Hollywood is. Hollywood is going to the end. Perry's going into the pits. He's about to come out the pits. You see the car there. They go into turn 1. He's ghosted, and thank God he's ghosted, because that could have ended up catastrophically. out of turn one there. That almost ended really badly. But Hollywood is ahead of Perry. I don't really see a way that Perry's going to get Finn. Perry might only have to settle for 10th. Which is not good news there for Project Platypus, but of course the damage has been done elsewhere. The damage has definitely been done elsewhere in this race. There's no question about it. 4.5 is now the gap between Keplero and Alessandro. And that gap is coming down very, very quickly. I think this might be a blowout. I think this might be a blow-by here. I think Alessandro should get this. If his tyres can hang on for long enough, he gained an entire second on Aero this lap. I don't see Keplero hanging on. I don't. Yeah, 14 seconds from the lead. That's roughly where he has been to Zico and Keplero. Zico and BX roughly the entire day, by the way. For frame of reference, Zico, BX, those two are going to have similar tyres right now. Zico's actually the quicker driver until he slid the car through the corner there and gave BX a little bit of time back. There is still a chance Zico wins this. As soon as I say that he goes on the grass as well. Not the greatest couple of corners span I think I've ever seen. It's 3.2 now for Alessandro against Keplero. Alessandro currently on the fastest lap of the entire race through the first sector. You see Keplero in the background there. Aura, 3 seconds off the back as well. Aura might still get Keplero. That's going to be a lot closer than potentially this one against Alessandro. Because if Alessandro can catch up by the time we hit lap 35, you might as well put the nail in the coffin now. I don't really see a way that Keplero is going to be able to hang on for that long. The tyres aren't going to die until lap 35 at earliest. Which, yeah, we could be seeing a very interesting finish here. Obviously, Arix would love to sneak the bottom step of the podium here, gain the extra couple of points that you get between 3rd and 4th. And with Perry having a bad day at the office, catch up a little bit. Well, I say catch up, but kind of level out the day a little bit, I think is actually the better way. And there goes Alessandro, 49.8, fastest lap of the session so far. And that just puts down the mark of the gauntlet that Keplero is going to have to get this one over the line in 3rd place. It would take something special. And I would be willing that if there's something special that happens to be all up and down about it, because he would deserve all the applause if he holds on to this. I just don't see a world where he does. Yeah, it's within a second. It's game over. Surely. Alessandro's tyre's not even close to 50. Oh, Keplero having a bit of a slide there. Bear in mind, Kepler's tyres have just fallen off the cliff as well. They've just hit 50 on his medium tyres. 4/10 of a second now, split the two. Alessandro is catching up on the lead pack. He's left it too little too late, but he is catching up. Catching up with some speed as well, but we know that Alessandro has a tendency to be too safe here. He did it with Hollywood, and that's going to play a huge part earlier in the race where he lost a couple of seconds there, and he's going to lose a bit more now. Keplero with a bit deep into the hairpin, and that will be game, set, and match in this fight, as Alessandro will just get hammed the position there. Don't know if there's any contact. I couldn't see it given the back angle there. I'm pretty sure if there was any contact, somebody would be behind. BX is pitting. Why? Here comes Alessandro. Why is BX pitting? 2 seconds. 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 I can only think it's the fastest lap. Which is an interesting call, considering the fastest lap is currently done by the driver who got pole. Who has been the fastest driver on softs when he got clean air by a mile. The damage isn't heavy, so it would disappear really quickly. It takes about 15 seconds to disappear. We're not on heavy damage, we're on light damage for the league. Albeit heavy damage would be a fairly interesting conundrum to explore in the future, maybe. That is really interesting. BX has managed to hold on. He has managed to hold on here. He's going to get by. He's going to get away from Alessandro. He's got better tyres. But why? I can only think it's the fastest lap. Oh, can we just go back to what I was saying earlier, where BX just simply does not like winning races. At this point, I am convinced this man does not like winning races. Either that or he's too unselfish and just likes handing other people opportunities to win. But that's just... This one, he didn't have the gap he had last week. He had over 20 seconds in Matei last week when he pitted. This one's just interesting because, quite frankly, if that had gone wrong in any way, shape, or form, he would have been out of the second step. Yes, we did, but because one of our commentators had to drop out, they couldn't do Sunday nights very often. He does lobby B now. I do lobby A. I'm on my own for now, and then I get my co-commentator Ross back next week when we join into one lobby. You'll hear both of our voices again this time next week. But yeah, for now I am all alone. 7.3, and yeah, that's it's got to be for fastest lap then. It has to be, because that's what he's doing right now. There's a lot of confusion there. I don't know why. Yeah, trying for the fastest lap, they still have the 1-2. It's an interesting choice. It's worked. It has worked, I'll give him that. But there is about 1,000,001 ways that could have backfired. And they're just kind of lucky that hasn't. Yeah, I appreciate it, Melissa. Appreciate it. But yeah, 6.3 between BX and Zico. There may be a chance. Small chance. The BX win this. It'd have to be one of the glory laps. Well, this would have to be 2 glory laps of all time. And yeah, it does show how confident he is lately. I mean, it's a ballsy move. It is a ballsy move. I'm not even going to debate that fact. Because one mistake and it would just wipe it all away. And there you go, that's the fastest lap. 0.4 of a second. 49.3. He'd done the choice to give Zico the win, to go and get the fastest lap, and it worked in every single way. It shouldn't have, but it did. Absolute madman. Absolute madman. I mean, fair play, I guess. That's all I've got to say to that. Fair play. There's nothing really else we can say to that. That is an incredible lap. That is just the flex of might there from BX. And it worked. It just flat out worked. May have confused us in the moment, but it's paid off. It's got them the points for the fastest lap. They stayed 1-2. That's the main thing. They stayed 1-2. Because all it would have taken is just slipping behind. He's on the fastest lap again. No way. Back to back. Never in a million years. 49.3 was 0.4 of a second quicker than anyone else. There's no way he's about to go back to back. Hollywood left. Oh, that's a little bit of a damaging situation for Cavar. Hollywood has left the lobby. I can only assume that's a disconnect. This late into the race. Is he going for back to the back? BX to the line. Looking for a low 49. Doesn't get it. In on the last lap anyway. He was just flexing for the sake of flexing for a minute there. 49.5 would have been the fastest lap as well. Alessandro to the 49.8. This is insane. It is ballsy. Well played. And that is a show. An absolute display of confidence. Of ability, of talent. Right there. That, in a place where you could have easily been out of rhythm, thrown away a point or two, maybe even more if you had spanned the car as a whole. And you would have, if you had spanned, by the way, those points wouldn't have lost from Project Platypus. They would have gone directly to Arix, with Kepler, Aura, and Tabby behind. And then just stunts. He gets the fastest lap. He almost had it again. And he's got within 1.5 of his teammate. This is just insane. That is a play. A show of confidence and a team running on all the form right now. All the momentum. Everything going in their direction heading into the double points week of Monza next week and then Bathurst after that. It was 42 before. It should be more than 42 now. Here comes Zico to the line. BX right behind him. And Zico is going to win the race for Project Platypus. BX had a bit of a stunt. Gets second. Alessandro maybe a little bit disappointed with himself. But at the end of the day, BX and Zico were just too good. Gets himself on the bottom step of the podium. Kepler is going to get fourth. Aura has managed to get himself tacked up to the back of Kepler as he ends fifth. Javi is the next one to the line, 8 seconds clear of Owen, so 6 has been where he has been since the dawn of time and where it's finished as well. 4, 5, 6 run for Arix. Maybe outshowered by the 1-2. Owen ahead of Fluffy Butt. Fluffy Butt having a day. Fluffy Butt had a day. His teammate quit. Or DC'd, I'm not entirely sure which one it was. But Fluffy Butt in 8th has had a day. Finn in 9th, Perry in 10th, which is the only bright spark in this entire race for Arix. Prime Goal will get 11th, decent day for him. He could have done a little bit more, but he'll take that. Latari will get 12th. Long Chicken will get 13th, and Hollywood will finish at the back of the grid. So that should still be enough. Should be the key word. Should still be enough for Cavar, depending on what Pegasus has done in Lobby B. But my God, what a display. What a display. Hollywood disconnected. Hey, you were always welcome. We didn't want you. We didn't want FGR to go. We didn't want them to go, but you're always welcome. What a race. What a race that was. That's a flex. That's as simple as that is. That is a flex. That is as simple as that. That is a team running high. Absolute on top of the world right now, and there is no stopping that. You have to be looking at that. That has to be demoralizing. Oh, it looks like Finn was the reason that Aura had his... Aura came back pretty well. It looked like Finn was the reason that he had the moment there. Aura again, 4 races, 4 suffers of a incident. It will come to Aura eventually. There is no... He's got the pace. There's no stopping that. It will happen eventually. It should have happened last season in Le Mans, but it will happen eventually. Yeah, Monza should... I would be surprised if Aura isn't on pole at Monza next week. And if he is on pole at Monza next week when he got the Ford GT, I don't see a way he loses. But yeah, that was... Wow. Wow. Incredible. I'm just going to stick around a little bit longer if you guys want to join me. I want to just stay in here because it is week 6. And I want to stay here and announce to the lobby who is in next week. We have Project Platypus. They will lead the championship going into our 2 double points weeks. In next week at Monza and then week 8 at Bathurst. You will have Eric, who should be second, heading into those 2 weeks. That gap should be more than 42 now. Wait and see in a minute. Third will be Falcon, who are quite the way off now. After, again, another really bad day at the office for anybody not named Alessandro. And Aero GT, Owen, Prime Cole, they've done enough. They've realistically done enough in this race just to secure that 4th spot. The real question is, has Kavar done enough? Have Kavar done enough in this race? Collingwood DNF 2 races from the end on a disconnect. Not entirely sure where he was prior to that scenario happening. Latari got 12th and Fluffy but had a decent day at the office, came in the top 8. So the real question is how has Pegasus done in Lobby B? But they have got to have done a very, very good run in that lobby. Otherwise, game over. Well, we'll see. It looks like Pasty won Lobby B, so that will be decent points for Falcon, I guess. As they are going to lose. They are going to lose out more on just everyone, realistically, there. But it'll be damage limitations at the very least. Just waiting on what Ross is going to be able to figure out. Let's actually have a very quick check-in on Lobby B while we're at it. For those who are sticking with, I appreciate it. We will very quickly have an update in a bit, Millis. See you next week, man. We'll be same place, same time, double point race. That'll be a good one. I want to very quickly see what is going on in Lobby B. If Lobby B is still up, actually. Looks like Lobby B actually finished. Let's have a look at what happened in Lobby B then. What are we looking at for final standings in terms of this race? Hurricane won. Oh, Hurricane won it. So Aero GT again there. PBR Turbo. Okay, so Pegasus came second. It does not look good outside of that. It does not look good at all outside of that for Pegasus. I think that's it. I think Kavar might have this. There we go. So pre-stewards, here we go. The 5 teams that are in. Project Platypus 402. Arix 351. Falcon 300. Aero GT 166. Cav R 129. Pegasus 108. That's it. Cav R made it. Cav R are the 5th seed. They have made it into the dance for the final couple of weeks. They can only get maximum of 4th as a whole, but they've made it to the dance at the very least. And that is a massive improvement on last season. Beating out Pegasus in the end. What a drive that is from Fluffybot in particular. But with that being said, I'll see you guys this time next week for some more, this time, double points ALR action for week 7 of the ALR esports season. In a bit.